Or we'll go to 3. Hey, how are you?
Yeah, right. Depending on how quick you can get through this. Yeah.
Nikki, I think you should just not make a presentation, just like if you have any questions, ask. There's a whole bunch of things we gotta
He's not presenting.
roll call.
Not on the agenda.
Exactly. What's
All
going
right,
on?
I'm gonna call our study session to order at 6:31 p.m. You guys can make sure that your mic light is on green.
Yeah, 1, 2.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're gonna try to get through as many items as possible within our allotted time. So we'll start with number 1, which is to approve resolution 2024-24. That's for the transportation bonds. I'm not sure who is going to give us information on this. Is it city manager or darkness? Oh, I'm sorry.
Doug Farrell is coming from the county.
Yeah, we need a roll call.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Reed. Jackson.
Here.
Lawler. Davis.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. So this is not for the transportation. This is for
This is for the water.
the water.
Oh,
Yeah. So I don't know if it's who's gonna give us info, Nikki.
Yeah.
I don't-
Mayor, council, is that my plan? Should be green.
Push the
Green
button.
light.
It's a black one.
Green. All right, thank you. Good evening. So this one right here, I know there's a bunch of things on the items and I will give a brief summary. And if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If you recall the water main project, we're replacing a lot of water main. That's going to replace roughly 1 lane of a roadway. And it was decided to leverage that project to reconstruct or resurface the other half of the roadway. So that other half is not eligible through the drinking water funds or out of your water fund, must be paid out of transportation funds. And so the MTM, Michigan Transportation Fund, is your Act 51 money. And this is borrowing against that to complete the other half of the roadway.
Do you have questions for Mickey on this item? Next,
I or all you, so you.
yeah. Right. Then next, we're gonna be asked to approve the first reading of ordinance 2024-03. Again, has to do with this project for acquisition, construction, installation, furnishing and equipment, additions or improvements.
Yeah, that's exactly it. This is authorizing resolution to borrow money for the water improvements project. We have a lot of grant funds in there. There's some low interest loan dollars from Eagle, the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, and then also we'll have some USDA funds as well.
Attorney Hartness.
So because this is an ordinance adopted under the Revenue Bond Act, this is just a single reading and adoption. There is no second reading of this.
So do we have questions for either Mickey or Attorney Hartness on this? Mickey? We're going to be asked to approve the agreement with Whiteman and Associates for this project.
So that one, if you recall, last fall, you approved 2 different proposals for us one to get started on some survey work and a second one for the remainder of the project. This one, because we didn't know at the time what our funding was going to be, we were hoping all through Eagle, through Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. We were offered about 50% at the time. They've added a little more to it since then, but we are pursuing the balance through USDA Rural Development. And so that additional source requires additional engineering report and environmental review. And they also have a very specific owner engineer agreement that's required, that's put out by Engineer Joint Construction Document Committee, EJCDC. You had the exact same format for your wastewater treatment plant project. And there's nothing really you or I can do about this. USDA requires this contract if it's going to go before them. So this will replace, this is not in addition to, this replaces our current agreements. The only exception I will note is that it does add $50,000 for the USDA preliminary engineering report, the environmental review, and the added administration that'll go along with that once we get to the construction side. We're going to be requesting reimbursement from multiple funding sources. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge on the construction side for us with all different funding sources and what's eligible through each different each source. So
Any questions for Mickey on this item? Right. Right, so the next few are the contracts. First, we'll be asked to approve resolution 2024-29 to tentatively award this contract to LB Noxa and Associates.
So there are 6 construction contracts, and we did that just a couple of reasons. One, we have some specialized work. Contract A is the wastewater plant or the water treatment plant. Contract B is the new tower. Contracts C, D, E, and F are broken up to make them a little bit smaller to get more contractors, allow them to bid on the project, more bids, more favorable pricing. And then contract F is lead service line replacements. So we have 6 different contracts. The next 6 resolutions are just the tentative award. There's a resolution that Eagle stipulates the language on that's included for each one. And it's a tentative award contingent upon securing financing as stated in the resolution. That should be in September. That closes. So we had multiple bidders on every contract. So that was good news. Contract A, a couple weeks ago, you guys rejected. We issued a post bid addendum. Price on that went from 4.4 down to 3.1. We took off roof replacement and a couple other cosmetic things at the water treatment plant and then at the Clark well field. So we believe that for the work that was reduced or eliminated, that tremendous savings were realized. So we thought it was really good value on that one.
Do we have any questions for Mickey in regards to this bid and contract? Next, we're going to be asked to approve resolution 2024-30 to tentatively award this contract to Caldwell Tanks.
So yeah, there are different contractors, but the same spiel as I just said, it kind of covers everything. Contracts A through F. This is the award each one, a tentative award upon contingent upon securing a financing. And that if there's some different bidders, I think there's one contractor that got 2 of them. But other than that, the resolutions are the same, except for different dollar amount, different contractor, all related to the water project.
Contract C is to award to Quality Excavators. Questions on this item? Contract D is for Mead Brothers. Good on that, all right. Contract E is for Concord Excavating and Grading. Contract F, again, for Concord Excavating and Grading. As Mickey said, it's good that we did have several companies place bids so that we can see what we're gaining for the dollars. So. All right. Thanks, Mickey. And next, we're going to be asked to approve for the finance department, the BS&A cloud upgrade.
We have a presentation that's scheduled for this for the full meeting, so I think that'll explain a lot of this, but. We've been using BSNA for as long as I've worked here at the city of Albion. This is an upgrade to their cloud product, something that I think we're gonna have to do at some point, and I think it's a good time to do it now. With the pricing that we have available to us, so. But that presentation will occur before the meeting in the full meeting, so.
Director Clark, while you're here, do you have anything to add on this item?
Not really, but it's something that we're gonna have to do eventually, the sooner we do it, the better pricing we get. And they're gonna structure the pricing, so I think it's gonna work for us. And it's not only for accounting purposes, but it's also for security down the road.
Good, all right.
Is this basically infrastructure or will we get new computers or?
This is the software that runs
It's
our
just
accounting
the software,
processes.
But
you know.
it doesn't impact,
Well, it impacts us to a degree because we have an older server that runs this program that we're required to maintain.
Mhm.
This is cloud-based, so we won't have to have a server to run this. The other advantage of that is if we do get to a point where we need to work from home, we have greater access to it. So if we were in a COVID situation or so forth, all the people that need access to it could access it better.
with their own equipment.
That or their computer from work that they can take home with them, so.
Well, this is so old until the ones that we have.
I'm
Well,
sure we
yours,
have-
but, yeah, but the staff has pretty good computers that they use, that they use for at home and,
We don't rate like that.
yeah.
I was just testing the waters.
Okay, next, we're gonna be asked to approve the second reading of ordinance 2024-02 for the tax exemption for Maple Grove. Attorney Harkness.
So this is just a second reading for the pilot, which is a payment in lieu of tax, so. Instead of the new owner paying property tax, they pay a service fee. Which is gonna be set at 6% of the rents that they collect. This is similar to the other pilots that we have in the city. It is a up to 50-year pilot. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Attorney Harkness? Councilman French.
Just for reference, what's the percentage property tax for private citizens? Is it 6%? Less than 6%?
It's hard to, I mean, your property taxes. It's a combination of a variety of different things, but it's not all. So the pilot is meant to replace services.
Right, but I'm just trying to get a handle on. Our property taxes that we pay the city are also paying for services, correct? So I'm just saying, I mean, this is a negotiated thing. I'm just curious to know if. What the pilot is, where does it rank relative to other properties in the city?
So I can tell you that the other two pilots that we have, I believe one is 9% and I believe the other one is 8% and change.
Okay, thank you.
They wanted to do, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the owners of Maple Grove came to us requesting a 4% pilot, and after talking with the city manager, I know the city manager talked to the finance director and our assessor. We told them that was not going to cover the cost of basic services, and so they agreed to up it to 6% at the city's request.
Okay, thank you.
And that was also a recommendation from our assessor as well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Next, we're going to be asked to approve resolution 2024-25 for the Community Foundation grant to provide myself and the city clerk to sign the agreement. City manager.
All right, now I'm confused on my list.
12.
Yeah. I messed up my list, you know what I had was where. Good question.
So this is, I mean, it's a grant that.
Is this the $5,000 one?
$8,000.
$8,000?
So this is going for repaving.
This was, this was when I was confused on because Haley told me this was already approved by council and didn't know why.
It was on again.
Yeah,
I didn't put that one.
I didn't, yeah, I think this showed up by accident, because I think it was already approved from what I was told.
I think that one was.
Yeah.
I must have got,
Yep,
we put it on the floor, but we had already fixed it, maybe.
I don't know how I can skip that every time I click on it.
So we'll,
So does this one need to be removed or have,
Yeah,
Colin, can you verify that this one's already been approved at their meeting?
yeah, because I even got an email from Mark Lely this week saying we had money to fix that because we were working on the drain pipe put down there by Rieger Park, but this is money to repair the trail in Rieger Park. Mark said it was already approved. Might just keep going while he's looking for that.
Yeah, go ahead, because this is gonna take me a minute, just.
That was 26, right? You said that was 26.
20,
What was that?
They
25.
call it 25,
25.
2024, 20.
Yeah, that was,
I'm on the wrong one. Sorry, guys.
I skipped that on my list. This is not on my list.
There we go.
So the next one, so we're gonna go back, we'll come back to Attorney Harkness after he has time to look, make sure if it's been approved or not. The next one is to approve resolution 2024, which is to amend resolution 2023-29 for the CDBG grant application.
So this is the same that we've done for these other state grants. They're requiring that we have multiple people that can sign. So it just adds interim, acting and assistant city manager to the ability to sign for these grant funds when they come in, depending on who's here.
Do we have any questions in regards to this item? Okay. Next is to approve 2024-26 to allow either myself or the city clerk to sign for the grant from the Community Foundation.
So this is a $5,000 grant from the Community Foundation to cover the remaining costs for the Albion Marshall connector for the 2025 fiscal year. Which leaves a remainder of $7,214 that the city will be responsible for to operate the connector for the next year.
Any questions on this item?
Who'd you say was responsible for the remainder?
The city, our city budget is, yeah, we were responsible for the whole, but with the $5,000, it cuts it down to 7,200.
Okay.
I've gone through the last, all the way back to 2022. I don't see one. I don't see one. I just searched grant through all our resolutions for 22, 23, and 24. I don't see one, but for this at least.
well, we can approve it.
I mean, there's no harm in approving it. Again, if
Right.
it's already approved. it.
Yeah,
Right. So are we good on this item for the Albion Marshall connector?
Yes.
Next, we're going to be asked to approve resolution 2024-28. This is to allow myself or the city clerk to sign for the Community Foundation grant. This one is to expand the River Trail project by linking Holland Park, McCullough Park, and McIntosh Park. This will also help repair the rotted deck that's on the Trestle Bridge. Assistant City Manager.
so we received a $300,000 grant from the state of Michigan's Natural Trust Fund. This part of the grant is a $10,000 grant from the Albion Community Foundation to cover parts of our cost of the $188,500 match that we had with the Natural Trust Fund grant. So
Do you have any questions on this item? Next, we're going to be asked to approve the request to purchase 310 Keeper Drive. In your packet, you will see the letter written to Director Arnold back in April. That's in that purchase. Attorney Harkness, do you want us to do this or?
I mean, in a nutshell, the citizens looking to purchase a property, they offered $1,000 per acre cash. The city's recommending that if the city elects to sell it, that I believe it was $5,000 per acre as a counteroffer. The city having talked with the city's assessor and looking at the comparable sales in the surrounding property, it was 5.3 acres at 5,000 an acre. Um. So. It's my understanding the administration is recommending countering at 5,000 an acre.
Yeah, and this would require this lot to be sectioned off in two separate lots. Currently, the lot includes Kiefer Drive and the parking lot for the medical center, along with property that's to the west of Kiefer Drive. They were looking to purchase the property that's to the west of Kiefer Drive. That would be behind the first house there. I can bring a map up if you want to see it in a map, but.
Okay, I got a question.
Yes.
Colin, have we sold any property recently? Like, do we have any, just, the reason I'm asking is because of the way in which.
Yeah, so basically there's an ordinance that says. There's a process that's followed with a public hearing and all that, but there's a provision in the ordinance that says. Council can basically decide they're not going to follow that and just sell a property to a proposed buyer approaches the city if they. Deem it in the city's best interest. So typically, if we have an obsolete piece of property, we would. Do a public hearing and say, hey, anybody want to bid on this? But in this case, a citizen approached the city. So, I mean, so if you're asking, is this permissible? The answer is yes. But the city is not recommending it at the price proposed by the individual. If the city wants to, do it as a, put it out in the paper and seek bids and take the highest bid they can. But if you do that, my recommendation would be that you do it with a minimum bid of $5,000 per acre.
Right. Okay, now this back to my question. Have we sold anything in the last few years? At all?
The last pieces of property that I recall us selling were out in the urban development area.
Yep.
We sold a couple parcels out there to, I'm blanking on
Mr.
the.
Sims.
Yeah, Ronnie Sims bought some parcels out there. I think, well, hold on this, but I think that's the last time I recall us selling property to a private citizen. Yeah,
Well, we sold him a couple pieces of property there on Erie Street that were to the east of where he lives. He did
Okay.
request some in the urban development property, which is behind him.
Oh,
We
okay.
chose not to do that and keep that all as one property.
Gotcha.
just near the urban development area.
Okay, I was wondering.
Councilman Reed?
Okay, this keep drive, is that up by where the hospital is?
Yes,
I
Goes
thought
back to the medical center
that
there?
Was contaminated.
I don't know that is right there that I'm aware of. Because that's all developed property except for the part that they're requesting to purchase.
Has that property been tested?
Well, they built facilities there, so I'm assuming it was tested when it was built, so. Because that's where the Kiefer Medical Building is in the parking lot for it, so.
That's across the street.
From where this property, but it's all part of the same parcel right now, so.
Cause I know when Macedonia Church was talking about buying the hospital up there, they said that the land was contaminated.
I've not heard that for that property, but I don't know for sure.
So given the time, I do want to be able to provide opportunity for public comment. So if there's anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council, you may do so. Give us your name and address, and 3 minutes is yours. All right, seeing no movement, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Closed session. Study session adjourned 6:55 PM.